Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It is Monday. I am Violet Dayal. I'm the founder of FemCity, and you're joining me today for one of our Monday motivational series. I'm super excited to dive in today. You know that I love networking, obviously. I started FemCity, which is a networking organization, and I have asked these beautiful FemCity Global members to join us today in the conversation. If you are joining us live, we'd love to hear your tips or aha moments, or you can just send us some love too. We love that as well. If you're watching the replay, don't feel like you've ever missed the conversation. You can always join along. You can tag any of us and share your aha moments as well, or your tips for networking too. So before we get started, I just wanted to have our panelists share a little bit about themselves. We're going to go in alphabetical order as we always do to keep myself in check. Danielle, can you share a little bit about who you are for those femmes that don't know you?
Sure. And I'm so excited because I'm usually at the end because it's usually alphabetical by last name. So this is a treat for me to go first. So for those of you I've not met yet, my name is Danielle Pulley. I am a customer success consultant. I live in New Jersey with my husband and my 2 rescue cats. I also do cat rescue. I am obsessed with networking. I love this topic, and you guys are in for a treat.
Love it, love it. All right, let's go to Erin. Share a little bit about yourself as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Erin Tarr, confidence coach for teen and tween girls. I heard a little feedback there. I was like, whoa. So I work with girls both in person and virtually to help them choose their thoughts, create a life they love, and go out and change the world.
Love it. Beautiful. All right. And Hannah, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me today, Violet. My name is Hannah Wilson. I am a financial advisor. I help develop personalized strategies for women in transitional periods of life to help them achieve their financial goals. And I'm located in Grinnell, Iowa, and I'm also the Midwest Virtual Collective FemCity leader.
Yay! All right, so these femmes are really great at networking. I think the 3 of you, I was looking at all of you as you were sharing, you girls get a lot of love and a lot of shout outs from FemCity members on an ongoing way. And I think it's because you are uber talented and skilled at networking. And I know all of your businesses really well. I know that they have flourished and taken off. So I'm super happy about that as well. So let's talk about what your number 1 tip is. And today I'm looking for networking tips that really a lot of people don't practice. What would be your absolute number 1 networking tip from these gurus of networking? Let's go to Danielle. What is your number 1 tip?
So I'm actually going to position my tip based off of what I've been hearing a lot of people say is asking great questions. So rather than talking to people, asking great questions. But once a person asks a really, I like to say, exceptional question, the biggest tip is, and this is so hard for me, you can already tell, shut up. So after you ask the question, you want to listen, because the piece that I think is missing out there is people are so excited to share what they do, connect with people, talk about all the things, but there's really nobody listening. So no matter how difficult it is for you, listen to the other person that you're connecting with so you can actually receive what they're saying. And the reason why I think this is so important is because you might go in with a certain thing, and I'll just use Hannah as an example. You hear the word financial. So immediately you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to send her a bunch of people who need to figure out their money. But if you actually talk to her and ask her questions, they may have nothing to do with business. Maybe she's looking for someone who can support her. Maybe she has a daughter that's feeling like she could use some, support. So then you need to connect her to Erin. Like, you don't know where things are going. So if you're going to ask questions, ask exceptional ones, and then shush and listen.
I unmuted myself and then went so fast that I unmuted myself again. I love that tip, Danielle. There's an event that we used to do years ago called Karmatopia, and part of it was listening to the other woman share.
You weren't allowed to talk. It was so
you weren't allowed to talk for 3 minutes. You had to sit there and listen to this other person sharing, and like not say anything. It was so powerful because it taught us how to listen.
Yep.
You couldn't say anything in return. And I always find that when we ask people questions, even if they don't know about us, what I think happens from what I've seen, they'll walk away and go, I love Danielle. She's like so amazing. You may not have even shared 2 things about yourself, but that you listened to them will really stand out, and they will have you there on the top of their brain. And that comes in handy, obviously, with referrals and opportunities. So I love that tip. So we have some love that came through. Aaron, Patrick Rector, Danielle, great tip. Awesome. There's construction going on. So it always happens when I go live on video. Never fails. And there's some more love that came through. It's so true about so many not listening. It's truly a skill and it takes discipline. And I love that you said it so funny, Danielle, because we all understood that. You know, we all struggle with just like keeping our mouth shut and just like really listening. Love that. All right, let's go to Erin. Erin, what is your number one networking tip?
Yes. So building the know, like, and trust factor is how we get to money. I assume we all know that. We may or may not. But building know, like, and trust, the biggest thing that I have heard and believed, but didn't believe it till I actually saw it in my own business and it worked, consistency. Showing up consistently, whether it's in your networking groups or whether it's online or whether it's in person. And consistency means both on a regular basis, but it also means showing up, like Danielle was talking about, with your whole self each time. So not just being present necessarily, but being present consistently. And I think that we love to like put our thing out and say, this is a great thing and everyone should do the thing that I'm saying that we should do because it's awesome. And then we are constantly thinking about it. So we assume everyone is thinking about it and they are not thinking about it. So we have to be present in their lives, listening to them, serving them, and that type of thing. And on a consistent basis. And that, maybe we all know it, but we just don't do it. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to show up. And I love that you shared that, Erin, because there are so many people that are like, well, I posted it. I went to that one networking event. I posted on social media. I went, and then they're waiting for $1 million to show up. But it's like advertisement. I mean, the reason why Old Navy or Target, they spend a lot of money on advertisement is because they're always there. They're consistently showing up. And so when you're thirsty or when you need to buy a pair of cargo pants, you're going to remember why? Because they're always in your face. And so we have to do kind of the same thing. We just have to be
true.
So people will remember us. And that's where the opportunities come through. As soon as people remember you, they're going to refer business to you and remember you in a good way, right? Not remember you like, oh, that chick spammed me, or that chick didn't listen to anything I said. You know, she talked about.
Or she asked me a question and didn't shut up for 2 hours. Exactly. That used to be me. I'll be completely transparent. I got so excited to talk to people. I'm just like, I'd said, so what's your favorite color? And they'd say blue. Oh my God, I love blue too. Did you know that? Like, so.
I have to say, though, after the pandemic, I think just seeing other humans makes us all super like chatty. We just want to talk, you know, like we're all just dying to like just have human interaction. So were you going to say something, Erin?
No.
Erin, no, that's my tip. All right, let's go to Hannah. Take it away, Hannah. What is your number one tip?
Yeah, so I was actually going to talk about consistency, and so that must be a great tip if we were both thinking about it. But I'll go a little bit deeper into consistency with less is more. So I know when I first started networking, I wanted to do all of the events, right? I wanted to go to all of the events with all these different organizations. And I wasn't really able to show up consistently anywhere because I was trying to do so much. And so I would encourage people to really like learn about the groups that you're interested in being a part of and then go deep with them. So be able to attend on that consistent basis and then also volunteer. Offer to help the group, offer to hold a leadership position, offer to really like be able to be passionate about what you're doing in your organization. Because people are going to get to, like Erin was talking about, that know, like, and trust factor. People are going to get to know you and like you and trust you so much more when they see you so often and they really understand what your values are and what you're passionate about.
Awesome. And Erin does her iconic snap, but I absolutely love every time you do that, Erin, my heart just smiles a little bit more. I love that, Hannah, so much because there, again, you know, there are so many people out there that are like, I showed up one time, I didn't get $1 million or I didn't get, lead. And there's no money in networking. The reality is just not only showing up consistently, authentically, and being there for others, but taking on that leadership role is huge within that. You can volunteer to like check people in the morning when they're coming for their meeting or coordinating or running. That goes such a long way. When I started FemCity Miami, I never told anybody what I did. I, at the time, was running a PR agency. and working for the City of Miami Mayor's office, I never told anyone. And what would happen is that people were so excited that I showed up on time. I was always serving, listening to other people, that they would Google to see like what I did. And I got a ton of opportunities that way because I was showing up, I was present, I was asking people questions, and I was just there to serve in that leadership way. It really helped to bring those opportunities to me. So I love that.
Yeah. And I hear so many people say, well, I network all the time. And it's like they go to an event with an organization and an event with an organization and an event with a different organization. And so, yeah, maybe you go to 4 networking events every single week, but you're never seeing the same people. And so you're only getting to spend 2 minutes with someone, and you can't get to know someone in that time period. So it's no wonder that's not translating into anything deeper for you. So that's where that like less is more really comes in, with like spending that quality time with the organizations and the people that you're networking with.
And going back to what Erin and Danielle mentioned also is developing those relationships consistently over and over again. You nailed it with what you shared right now, Hannah, because that's the key. When people get to know you, they will refer business to you. I sometimes laugh. I used to go before the pandemic. I would go to some networking events here in Miami. Sometimes when I'm speaking, right before you speak, you're kind of like networking. And I was shocked at how these seasoned networkers would come up and like throw marketing materials at me and spam me verbally and then walk away. One of my favorite, like, don't do networking this way moments was years ago. I was in Orlando at our FemCity Orlando event and standing in line for something else. Someone came up to me, not part of our event, came up to me with a really expensive glossy marketing, collateral, it was like a booklet. And she just came up to me and threw a bunch of words at me about how I should hire them as a landscaping company, how they're the best landscaping company. And then she gave me this, like, I think it was like a $4. I mean, I know how much that stuff costs. It was a high gloss, full color brochure, and then walked away. And I thought if she had done what Danielle mentioned and Erin mentioned, you mentioned asking questions, she would have known that I don't live in the city and I live all the way in Miami and I live in a townhouse, which the association does all the upkeep for the gardening. So, so many times we think that we're networking, but are we just throwing stuff at people? Like, are we just telling them how great we are, but not like realizing like, maybe they don't live in the city. Maybe they don't own a house. I mean, spending all that time spamming people, I think counters the effectiveness that you're trying to achieve, because now they're like, ew, I definitely don't want to hang out with Violet because last time she threw a $3 brochure in my face and I don't want to hang out with that chick. So it kind of can go the opposite direction as well.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of just like the follow-up piece too. So you come across icky in follow-ups and you do that as well. So there's been instances where I've signed up for things and unfortunately were unable to attend. And I just bet on how many emails I'm going to get. It was so great to see you yesterday. It was so awesome to learn about your business. I'm looking forward to partnering with you. So then I like to mess with them sometimes. I say, oh, wow, really? So what was the best thing you remember from our conversation? Or, you know what I mean? And I eventually tell them I'm messing with them, but I just kind of give it to them as advice. We're all trying to get as many contacts as we can, but if you actually put all the efforts in that you heard here to a smaller group with more intention, it's gonna be so much easier for you.
Yeah, it's spending time with just 1 or 2 people. You don't need to make 30 new friends. Just spending that quality time with 1 or 2. I was going to ask you what your final advice was, but I think Danielle, that's a great final advice. Like that's perfect right there. Erin, what is your final advice for femmes?
I think piggybacking on what Hannah said about choosing your organizations well, because I think as women, especially now in this virtual world, have gobs and gobs and gobs of places where we could put our time and effort and energy, but choosing well and investing in those, I think just piggybacking on what she said is perfect, because we can't spread ourselves too thin. And that includes networking.
Right. Absolutely. Hannah, what's your final advice?
Yeah, I think my final advice is don't be afraid to pitch yourself when the time is right. I think we talk a lot about this like icky feeling that we get when someone comes to us with their products and their services. And I know when I first started networking, I really got nervous about, I don't want to be that way, right? I don't want to be. And so for a long time, I then never offered my products and services, right? Because I didn't want to be that person. And so a part of networking is to build those relationships, and we're here to grow our businesses. And so don't be afraid when you find someone who you've gotten to know and you know, what I have would really benefit this person. I know them well enough to say, hey, I could help you. Tell them that you could help them. And maybe the time isn't right for them, but they will appreciate knowing that you're there and why you really believe that you have something that would benefit them.
Love it. Oh, this was so great. So great. All right. Wrapping up, Danielle, how can Femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
You can connect with me on Instagram, Danielle B. Woolley, or daniellewoolley.com.
Awesome. Erin, how can Femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
Yes, Instagram is probably the easiest place, b.the.benchmark.
Love it. And Hannah.
Yeah, I feel like I should probably just share my Instagram now too. Mine is mrsmrs.hannahwilson.
Awesome. Love it. All right. So Becky Russell added, love these. I think she meant to put tips, but she put rips, which I think is adorable. And we have some more love that came through. So much wisdom shared here, ladies. And some more love. Great advice, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited. Please let us know if you have any additional tips that you want to share with the FemCity community, and or any aha moments that you've had. We'd love to hear about your success. And if you haven't tried out FemCity yet, we all know that we love to network over here. You can head over to femcity.com and sign up for our free 30-day trial. And you can cancel at any time. So super easy. Thank you so much, ladies. I wish you guys a great week, and we will see you girls back here next week.
Happy Monday. Bye.
Happy Monday.